We'll talk to John about this in a little bit, talking about that county judicial race, family court. Both Paul Deep. The good thing is out of this, and I know that I had, and doing the commercials and the radio and TV for Julie Girizzi-Mosca, but it was all about turnout. And Julie is going. I mean, down at the end of the day, sometimes people. You had to turn in Oneida County. You got to turn Republicans, so you have to get Republicans to vote for you, and I think that was done. But the turnout was so big in rural areas that you could see early on it was going to be that way. But the good news is, I think both candidates are going to would make really good family court judges.
Yeah,
and I think the people of Oneida County are in good hands. So that's a big.
For whatever reason, I'm interested in the whole write-in thing, and there were 70 write-in votes for that race.
Yeah, interesting. Well, it would take a lot more than that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
John Zogby standing by. John, speaking of that race, obviously Julie was going to do well in the city of Rome and the city of Utica. Actually, Rome was really kind of wonderful, but she did very well in Rome. But this constitutional convention brought people out to the polls yesterday, and no one really expected such a positive turnout. This was a big turnout yesterday.
It was. You could see it and feel it during the day. I don't have the final figures on the actual turnout, but I know that it was high everywhere. And that ballot issue, certainly contributed to that.
Yeah.
That brought out a lot of public employees, notably teachers, to vote against it.
It was interesting. My parents, Herkimer County, my father's a legislator in the Herkimer County legislature, and every year my parents are a part of this dinner that they do, and it raises money for the Columbia Center United Methodist Church, which I don't think is United Methodist anymore, and it's community church. Anyway, my mother's like, there's no one running in the town of Columbia. There's only, on our ballot, there was just 3 propositions. So she said, we've made all this food, and I don't think anybody's going to show. So they got blasted. There was a huge turnout, and the only thing you could vote for was the proposition. So it shows you that you're right. Teachers and state workers and people who were worried about liberal takeover of and changes to the Constitution, people did come out.
Yeah, they certainly did.
Yeah.
And I know that there were some key Republican areas where you had competitive elections. That always helps.
Yeah.
The city of Utica as well had some tight races. County legislative seat, Jeff Daniels and Joe Fergal, down to 1 vote.
1 vote. But doesn't that there's no better example of every vote counts, right?
You can't get a better example than that. And
I feel sorry for the waiter over there. This is Jeff Daniels from Danielle's.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for that waiter that didn't get out and vote. He is in big trouble.
If you wore stickers here, and all the wait staff. Had I voted stickers except that one guy.
Except for Mario, the head chef. I was cooking. I couldn't help it.
You want this sauce tonight?
Oh, boy. Well, I want to ask you, because there's some there have been some issues out there in yesterday's election that have been talked about as mandates. Number one, and this is self-proclaimed by No Hospital Downtown, this is a mandate on the hospital. And it did not bode well for Jim Zecca and the No Hospital Downtown crew.
No, it didn't. Zecca came in 4th, I believe, and substantially down. Not in the pack. Lou Pocha lost 2-1.
Yep.
I think it was. No, and so as a voting issue, no, it didn't help. Although. There are other factors in play.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was Lou's first run for office, and Jim Zecca's well known. He's won and he's lost races over the years.
How about and we'll get to. I'm very interested in what your results, and we'll do this in a second. Had on the family court race. This is the poll, the survey that we're in the midst of, which you'll still be able to take, and we'll talk more about it. But how do we not talk about? And certainly, I think Democrats should be cautious here. But there's a lot of celebrating going on across the country for Democrats over Virginia and New Jersey, but a lot of other key races around the country that seem to go into the way of. I was surprised with Virginia because that wasn't close.
It wasn't close at all. You know, the average of the polls, the last 5-6 polls, had Northam leading by 3, but there was a wide range, anywhere from a 1-point lead to a 9-point lead. You did see his lead growing, though, the closer it got to Election Day. But, you know, the caveat was Ed Gillespie, of course, ran against Mark Warner a few years ago and closed very, very strong. And so that's what folks were looking for. As those votes were coming in, I was looking at where are they coming in from. And I do know that when you get to the northeastern suburbs of Washington, D.C., that vote is usually counted the last.
Yeah.
And so when Northam actually held on to the lead all evening, so Gillespie never pulled ahead.
The president has really kind of distanced himself here, but boy, he really ran on the president's issues. Gillespie really attached himself to President Trump's agenda here.
Yeah, that was disingenuous of Trump to tweet that. Ed Gillespie, first of all, you know, longtime Republican consultant, DNC or RNC chairman, mainstream Republican if there is one. But you saw in the last 4 to 6 weeks of the campaign him turning his stripes and really running as a Trump candidate, despite what the president said.
Yeah.
But bottom line is Virginia stayed blue. And strongly blue. As I understand it, they're still counting, but Northam may have won, the Democrat, more votes than any Democrat in Virginia history.
Well, it's the first time, I think, they're saying 20 years that they feel the State House is going to be turned Democrat in Virginia, which was quite interesting.
Picked up a lot of seats.
So would you say, though, Democrats should be cautious? There's as much of a civil war going on in the Democratic Party than there is in the Republican Party. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yeah. Nobody comes in favorite. These were. This is a referendum on Trump yesterday, no question about it, but not the best states to look at. You know, New Jersey's a Democratic state, and Chris Christie's leaving office with barely double-digit approval rating. In Virginia, you've got a Republican Party that's split. You also had some serious questions about Northam. You know, the progressives on the Democratic side weren't terribly thrilled with him. But no, nobody goes into 2018 with any significant advantage. These two parties are falling apart.
And we haven't, this is the first time we've spoken, your brother, who was big with the Democratic Party, the National Party, out here in the midst of a shakeup. What's going on? They're trying to find some bit of common ground here, but there's still this Clinton versus Bernie Sanders that exists. And Donna Brazile, by the way, now.
It's a bad one, and it's a long time one. It goes back to McCarthy and McGovern and Teddy Kennedy challenging Jimmy Carter and straight through this progressive mainstream Democratic split. But this time it's gotten very bitter, and the man, one of Obama's cabinet members, Tom Perez, appointed DNC chairman and publicly stating he wants to heal the rift, but on the other hand has been purging Bernie Sanders supporters from the party. There is some real ill will between the two wings of the party. In my brother's instance, they're fighting it. Jim has been on the executive committee of the DNC for over 20 years now, and has been a chairman of a couple of committees. So he's got a lot of support. mainstream as well as the Sanders folks.
Yeah.
But that plus the Donna Brazil revelations and the bitterness that's being expressed at each other from both sides. No advantage, nobody now.
Yeah.
Both parties are in trouble.
Okay, let's talk local issues, and of course, let's start out with the family court. This is our survey, and I thought this would be a nice indicator to see on the accuracy. And the one thing that you've told us about the survey that we're conducting on our website right now at WIBX950.com, and we've got probably another 2 weeks to go with this, is the fact that it seemed the people who are participating, it's quite representative of the makeup of the area.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with, first of all, with the makeup, with the demographics. Those who are participating are reflective of the demographics of the electorate, party-wise, age-wise, region-wise, and so on. And as I indicated to you, we had a competitive race right along between Paul Deep and Julie Drutzy-Mosca. Yesterday, early afternoon, we saw Mosca actually pull ahead by a percent. As we got later into the afternoon and a few straggler votes came in, we saw Deep pull ahead by 1. Bottom line, it was close. It was competitive. We were reducing the numbers of undecideds, but they had started at the beginning of the day still at 23% undecided. By the end of the day, they had gone down to about 18 or 19% undecided. But it was competitive, and the race was competitive, a 6-point differential.
It was a very competitive race. So people can still take this poll.
Yes.
And I think that's important. And we've got, another 2 weeks or so before we'll get the final results.
Yeah, we do. We have another 2 weeks. We're, of course, going to eliminate the Constitutional Convention question and the family court.
That, by the way, that was overwhelming that they were going to vote yes on Prop 1. Is that correct?
No, on Prop 1.
No on Prop 1.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. No on the Constitutional Convention.
It was. In fact, we were coming in at 78-22, and
that's
the
pretty
last
close.
Count I saw statewide was just around there, and here in the county as well.
And the county as well. I could tell you in a second what the county was. It'll be interesting because I just was looking at it. Let me get to the very bottom of this amazing Board of Elections website.
Oh, I know. You got to keep scrolling, but it is very nice.
Okay, the final tally was actually 90% to 10%. 90% no on Prop 1 in Oneida County. That's pretty big.
I would say those are strong feelings.
Yeah, I'd say that was pretty strong. Okay, John, some of the issues out there, but then you go into your tribe as well. So explain what people are doing when they take this survey.
Ultimately, when they take the survey, they're registering their concern on the downtown hospital, pro or con, and the casino downtown. But at the same time, there are 26 very quick questions to take where they can find out who their tribe is by name and also what the members of their tribe are typically like, politically as well as culturally and socially and so on. Very interesting.
John, I wanted to ask you, get more into how you develop these tribes. These are all tribes you came up with, is that right?
These are all tribes that the public came up with. We this whole process from the bottom up and let people tell us about themselves. 4,000 people nationwide, open-ended questions. They told us the mottos that drive their lives, what are the two most important defining moments in their lives, that sort of thing, and ultimately the name of the tribes. And what we did from there was we consolidated it down to 11 major tribes and the characteristics of each of those tribes, and we've been validating them ever since. So a lot of the credit for this goes to thousands of people who've taken this survey now over the last 8 or 9 years.
And it identifies beyond I'm Republican or I'm black or I'm a woman.
Yeah. Every tribe includes people from every party, every age group, every region, religious orientation. That's the thing that's exciting about it. It's an entirely new and different way of understanding and packaging the American people. And the most important thing is it works.
And listen, we're showing that the survey is pretty darn close based on the results we saw on Prop 1 and the family court issue. Pretty big.
It's pretty reflective, and we have plenty of room. I really encourage people. It takes about 5 minutes to take the survey, but you are instantaneously able to find out who your tribe is and what their characteristics are.
Bill did it in 3 minutes. He just clicked C for every answer, like it was high school. So he did it quicker.
It worked for me in high school. I mean, I got out. I don't know how I did, but all right, John. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks. Take care.
John Zogby, that poll is on our website. It's pretty easy to see. There's a little thing at the top, and it says take this poll. So do it.